This is the Replay Audio Wireless Bluetooth speaker. This is the model they call the RPA BTS3BK. And this particular speaker comes with the instructions, an audio cable and a micro charging cable, and then a wrist strap for carrying. The instructions themselves are okay, but a bit lacking in some details. And this one is very similar, if not identical, to the design by Nationite, which also makes a similar speaker that looks pretty close to this, if not identical to this. This is a small rectangular speaker. It's about 4 inches by 2 by 1.5 inches deep. Fully charged, this has about 3 hours or so playtime. And to pair, there's basically, I'll show you on the back here, there's an on-off switch, there's the auxiliary plug, the micro charging, and a micro card slot. But to pair, you just basically flip it on, and let me...
Bluetooth ready to pair.
And you'll hear that. And I'm demonstrating how that sounds. I don't normally demonstrate the speaker sound because I have a webcam that usually doesn't reproduce the sound very well. But I'm actually going to demonstrate something with the speaker that's kind of odd with this. As you could hear, the accented voice here was very clear, unaccented for the most part, and actually one of the better sounding speaker voices I've heard. Let me switch it to the audio.
Auxiliary cable connected. Bluetooth ready to pair.
There's 4 buttons on the top. The one I'm hitting here is the mode button, which switches between the auxiliary and the Bluetooth. Unlike the Nationite, there's no FM radio option on this, which I wasn't crazy about anyway because of no display. There's also the volumes, the play pause, and the answer hang up button for telephone calls. But the speaker voice was actually pretty clear, unlike some others that I've heard that are very accented and hard to understand. But you know, I tested this initially through the audio cable and then later through the Bluetooth. Through the audio cable, the music was clear, lacking in bass, but of course it's kind of expected in a speaker this size. But the weird thing that happens here with this is that, you know, and I'm going to try to pair this here while I'm doing the video, but is when you pair it in Bluetooth mode, at least with my Android phone, the speaker gets very, very muddled for some reason. And I'll try to bring it up here once it pairs so you can hear.
Bluetooth connected.
So I don't know if you could hear the difference of how muddled that sounded, but it sounds really muddled for some reason.
Bluetooth disconnected.
As you can hear the difference. And I'm going to flip it off. That's because I've unpaired it and flip it back on.
Bluetooth ready to pair.
Again, I don't know how well that comes across on my webcam speaker, but here, sitting here, for whatever reason, this particular speaker, when you pair it with Bluetooth, at least with my phone, and I'm using an Android phone, it got really, really muddled. Now, you know, it only muddled the voice. I tested this around a few times to see if it affected the music playing ability through Bluetooth, and it didn't seem to affect or muddle up the music as it played through Bluetooth. It only for some reason is related to the change of voice when it switches to Bluetooth mode. So no idea what's causing that. It's a small issue. Music through the Bluetooth sounded fine, although not perfect. A little bit distortion at higher volumes, but for a small speaker, it has decent sound and okay bass for a small speaker. The Bluetooth range of the speakers is good distance-wise, playing at least at 30 feet or more without cutting out. It also has the ability to play music through a micro SD slot, but the instructions really aren't clear on what formats that it can play with that. Phone calls sound okay on both ends of the conversation and sufficient as a hands-free device, but for me personally, that wouldn't be my main purpose of this for this speaker. And overall, this a small, compact, sounds pretty decent for a small speaker of its size. It does have a little bit of distortion at higher volumes, and the speaker voice sometimes sounds a bit muddled when it goes to Bluetooth mode for some reason. But overall, it's a decent speaker for its size, and it fixes some of the issues I had with the Nationite brand in terms of properly labeling the buttons. It ditched the FM part of this as well, and I give this 4 stars.